The big change we made in our lives 8 years ago. New life, new beginning. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sheila, and I thank you so much for being here today. Well, about a month or so ago, I did a YouTube shorty video called The Choice of Change. And that was just a very short video talking about sometimes we can make changes in our life. We get to choose those changes. And then other times in life, things change, things happen, and we have no say-so. It is completely out of our control, and our whole life can change. And at that time, I shared that Dave and I had made a big change about 8 years ago. So this is the video where I'm going to tell you about that big change that we made, that we chose to make. What that was we left our hometown of Richmond, Virginia, where we had lived for many, many, many years, where my children grew up, and they still live there. And my grandchildren were all born there, and they still live there. We had an opportunity to come to Hilton Head, South Carolina area and stay in a home for 3 months, just to check out the area. Now, this would have been back in 2014. We actually came in December of 2013, and we were to stay December, January, until about the middle of February. Because we worked from home, we could bring our business with us. So we just packed up our computers and all our office equipment, some clothes, and off we went. Needless to say, we absolutely loved the area. It was great to be in a warm climate through those months of December, January, February. We were able to go to the beach, check out the surrounding areas, and really check out this community that we were staying in for those 3 months. The community has so much to offer, so many activities. My goodness, we hadn't been that active in years. We were playing tennis, bocce ball, going to karaoke, dances, going to the fitness centers and taking all the classes like Zumba, Pilates, yoga. Anything they offered, we took. And we thoroughly enjoyed it. We met so many nice people. Most people here are from other states. They chose this area to retire in. Now, of course, we had no intentions of retiring or moving. Maybe 10 or 12 years after that point, but definitely not then. We owned our home in Richmond, Virginia. It wasn't for sale, and our whole life was in Richmond, Virginia. That was our little world where our children lived right there. My middle son lived directly across the street from us, and they have 2 of my grandchildren. And then my youngest son lived a mile away, and him and Nina had 3 of our grandchildren. And then our daughter was a mile away in another direction. So we were all in this little bubble and in each other's lives and worlds every day. We got to see each other. We got to be there when all 5 grandchildren were born. We got to attend their soccer games and their school functions, their plays, take them to football practice, or whatever they were involved in. Our church family was there. Our in-home Bible study was there. We had known the neighbors for years. It was truly a wonderful life. So after we had been here in Hilton Head for December and January, and we knew we would be going back about the middle of February, Dave said, well, let me just go online and do some research. Who knows, maybe 10 or 12 years from now, we'll want to retire here so that we can be in a warm climate and be in an adult community and stay active for our senior years. So he wanted to get an idea of what the prices of homes were like and what they had to offer, etc. Well, we found one, and it happened to be a foreclosure, and he said, well, let's just go look at that one, at least so we can check out a different house. So we contacted a realtor, and she met us here the next day. Her name was Rita. Now, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound very strange. I know. Trust me, I know. But we got to the house, got to the door. Rita opened the door. She was already in the house. I stepped 1 foot over the threshold, and all of a sudden, out of my mouth, the words came, "I'll take it." What? I mean, does that make any sense? It sure didn't to me. Of course, Rita looked at me like I was a real whack job. Dave was behind me, and he just said, What are you talking about, Sheila? And I didn't know. I didn't know how to answer. I was like looking around almost in a state of shock, like, who said that? Why would I say that? It made no sense. But again, I said, "I'll take it." And Rita said, "Well, don't you want to look at the house?" Because I had just stepped in the doorway. And I said, "Well, sure, we'll look at it, but I'll take it. I know I'm meant to be here." Well, probably by that time she thought I should be put away somewhere. But she showed us through the house, really didn't look at much of anything. There was such a feeling that came over me that it just kind of shook my whole body. I cannot describe it. I wish I could do a better job at putting it into words. Well, needless to say, that day we put a contract on this house. Now, several other people had put a contract on the house too. We didn't think we would get it because our house wasn't even for sale in Richmond. And of course, we still had a mortgage on it. But yep, you guessed it, we got it. And that made no sense. The other people that put offers on the house were in a better position than we were. So why did we get it? Well, then we thought we better get back to Richmond. Because the home was a foreclosure and the bank had it, it was going to be a quick close. So we would be closing in about 3.5 weeks. We head back to Richmond, and the whole way driving back, we're like, what's going on? What are we doing? We weren't going to move. Our family is there. Our roots are there. Our world is there. So we got back to Richmond, and we told our kids and grandkids that we put an offer on a house and got it, and we would be moving. Well, needless to say, they were shocked because they knew we didn't talk about moving. We had no intentions of moving. They knew our house wasn't for sale. And then when we told them we'll be moving in 3 weeks, they were really shocked. And saying the words out loud were shocking to us as well. We were still just, I can't explain it, just in a state of some kind. But that inner voice, that gut feeling, that knowledge that I knew we had to follow this, even though it made no sense whatsoever. That's what gave us the little comfort of doing it. So we contacted a realtor to list the house. Of course, it wouldn't sell or even be shown before we were leaving in 3 weeks. We packed what we wanted to take. We got rid of all of our furniture, divvied it out between the kids, and whatever they didn't want, just gave it away. It's really cheaper to buy new furniture when you're making a long distance move like that than to pay $9,000 to $11,000 to have a moving company move what you have. So that's what we did. So that was our big change 8 years ago. And it was the choice of change. We chose it. This didn't happen because we had to move to a different climate due to health issues. This didn't happen because one of us had to go in a nursing home or something, and so we would have to leave our children and grandchildren. This was a choice. Granted, we didn't understand it, but we trusted it. Now, if you would have asked me then, would you ever move away from your children and your grandchildren? That would have been a flat out no. No way. It was even an impossible thought to think, because we have always been together and always lived within a mile or so of each other. The only time we were ever separated was when they were away at college. And being able to see our grandchildren every day, to take care of them, to keep them on the weekends, to keep them when they were babies so that their parents could work. I mean, when you think of all of that, it's just unthinkable to me to leave when you're so involved in their lives, in their day-to-day lives, picking them up after school or taking them to an activity or whatever was needed. We were there, we were available, and we absolutely loved spending every minute with them. Now, did we leave our family? Did we leave our kids and our grandchildren? No, I don't feel that way at all. I feel what we did was open a whole new world to them. They love coming here. This is a vacation spot, a resort type area. The beach is here. There's so much all around us, so many things to do, new experiences. And just within this community, there's so much to do. So in many ways, even though we saw each other daily for all those years, this has brought us even closer because we truly appreciate the time we spend together. We don't take it for granted like, oh, of course I'm going to see him or her. I see them every day. It is such a treasure when I know they're coming. And we love our time together. It is quality time. We have fun. The grandkids love coming here. Noah has come here for the full summer, 2 or 3 summers in a row. And of course they come down on spring break and then holidays, different times throughout the year. So we're still together as a family for all the holidays and days in between. And those days are so special. As far as Dave and I, this has been a godsend. I understand now why those words came out of my mouth. I'll take it. I understand why we were meant to be here. I can't explain all the reasons, but a few that I will share with you is it's a whole new adventure for Dave and I, a new beginning, a new life. We are able to be active every day. We can ride our bikes. We can play tennis. We can go to the fitness centers. We go to the pools. We can ride around in golf carts. We can be outdoors almost the entire year with nice weather. We get plenty of sunshine. We've met so many wonderful people. And most of the people here are from other states, some from other countries. So we kind of all adopt each other as family as well. Another wonderful thing that came out of this change that we chose was when my mother fell up in Pennsylvania about 5 years ago. She ended up in a nursing home where she would have had to remain. She could not go back home and live by herself. Well, we were in a situation here where we could bring her down and she could have sunshine and fresh air and be outside. And she got back on her feet. She got to engage in activities and go places, and she literally came back to life and just thrived here. So to be able to do that for my ma is a tremendous blessing, and it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't been here. One of the other miracles that happened for us here is Dave's cancer was discovered. It's a long story that I can't go into everything, but the cancer that he has was already well advanced when they found it here, less than a year after we moved here. So that meant he had had it for probably 5 years prior, but it was discovered here. They have amazing doctors through the VA hospital in Charleston, South Carolina. He has gotten the best of care. He has had so many surgeries, so many body parts removed. He's had radiation, and he's had chemo, and he's currently still on chemo. Everything is paid for, everything. He has had top-notch medical care through MUSC, Medical University of South Carolina. They are tied in with the VA in Charleston, and they provide the medical care, and it is top-notch. We had neighbors just on our street that are much older than Dave that all got together and took turns taking him to radiation when he had to go for 7 weeks every day of the week. Now, of course, he could have drove himself, but these neighbors wanted to take him. They just wanted to be supportive. I could go on and on with stories of all the amazing things that have happened for us because of this change. But I can't let the video go too long. So basically what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, don't be afraid of change. Change is good. Change is healthy. I know change can also be scary, and all of us like things that are familiar, and we don't want to rock our little world that we've created. This is our life, and we've created it, so we don't want to change it. Well, guess what? It's going to change for each and every one of us. At some point or another, life will change, and it may not be your choice. It could be due to health reasons, or your children who have your grandchildren could accept a new job out of state and move states away from you, or your grandchildren, they grow up, they go off to college in another state, they meet someone, they marry. They have the right to live their lives too. And that's what's most important to me. I want my children and my grandchildren to have their own lives. I don't want them to feel like they have to revolve their life around me. They have their own families, they have their own life, and I want them to have their own choices. And I know they want that for us as well. So in my opinion, it's better to accept change, accept the fact that there will be changes, whether you choose to make them or not. And we have to learn to be okay with that, because after all, we are not always going to be here. I am not always going to be here. So I want to know that my children and my grandchildren can stand on their own, have the life that they choose, and be absolutely fine without me. I hope that makes sense. Well, I think this video has gone on long enough. If any of you have ever made a change, whether it was a willing change that you chose to do, or a change that was forced upon you, maybe from health or a job transfer or something. Leave it in the comments section. I'd love to know how you feel about it and what experience you have had. Well, now I'm going to leave you with an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip today is on acceptance and trust. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways submit to him, and he will direct your path." I know we all like to think that we are in control of our lives and what happens in our lives, but we really aren't, are we? Life happens to all of us and in all different ways. And sometimes in life, we get to choose the changes that we want to make, and in other ways, we can't. We have no say-so whatsoever. We don't know from day to day when our life can be turned upside down. I'm not saying that my choice, the choice Dave and I made to move away from our family 8 years ago, would be your choice. And we didn't choose to move away from our family. It's just the choice we made involved us moving away from our family. But our family is right here with us. They're in our hearts every moment of every day. We text, we FaceTime, we talk, and we visit. The joys and the amazing things that have happened in our lives in these past 8 years are just immeasurable. I can't count them all, or I would be here all day long. Now, both of our sons want to move here. They love it here. So you never know how life is going to turn out. You just have to trust what you know you need to do for yourself. Place your trust in God. He will never lead you in the wrong direction. An ending to one thing is a beginning to something else. Don't be afraid of new beginnings. Embrace them. You would be surprised. I thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya!